Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
With most people in the Bible, we study things that they did right and things they did wrong, so we can learn from them. But two people in the Bible, besides Jesus, of course, didn't have anything negative recorded about them. Do you know who? Joseph, son of Jacob, who at a young age became a slave in Egypt and later second in command, and Daniel, captive sent to Babylon at a young age and eventually became second in command there. We could easily compare and contrast these two men, but what I want to look at today is the trial Daniel went through toward the end of his life and Jesus' trial, death, and resurrection. Both Jesus and Daniel had consistently remained faithful to God their entire lives and completely trusted and surrendered themselves to the Father's will and brought honor and glory to God in the end. In the story of Daniel, his enemies, like Jesus' enemies, could find no fault in him. So they had to conspire to have the king make a law that people could only pray to him for 30 days. But of course, Daniel prayed daily, 3 times a day, and with his window open. So they knew Daniel would break the new law, and they could pounce. Daniel was always consistent from the time he arrived as a teen. He didn't try to hide his faith even though he knew of the new law. He opened his windows and prayed. Jesus, of course, was also arrested after praying in the Garden of Gethsemane. His enemies also had to conspire against him, breaking their own law to hold court at night. Both Daniel and Jesus' enemies thought they were in charge as they bullied the kings, Darius and Pilate, who both did everything they could think of to get out of sentencing an innocent man. Pilate washed his hands of the whole business, and Darius agonized all night, thinking he had sent Daniel to his death. But you know what? The enemies of these two men had no idea how God would work in these situations, fully in control at all times. Both Daniel and Jesus faced a cruel death, yet neither one of them said a word in their own defense. I'm sure you've heard the horrors of crucifixion, and we see what kind of death Daniel faced later when his enemies got thrown into the lion's den. It says the lions overpowered them and broke all their bones into pieces before they even came to the bottom of the pit. The night of Jesus' death, they rolled a stone over the mouth of the tomb and sealed it. After Daniel was put in the lion's den, they did the same thing. They put a stone over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his signet ring. But the next morning, very early in the morning, life had won. Jesus was resurrected. And in Daniel's story, they took him out of the den alive and well. And in the end, God received all the glory for Jesus' resurrection and for Daniel's deliverance. What can we learn from all these similarities between these two stories? We can learn that God is completely sovereign, in control of every detail, so that things always work out His way, so we can trust Him completely. These are both examples of Romans 8:28. All things work together for good to those who love the Lord. And our story can be a good example of that verse too, if we put our faith in God.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.